All right, it is time again for Astronomy Daily Live. Hey there, everybody. It is 2 hours UTC. So welcome. Come on in. Forgot to do that again. Getting really bad about that. Come on in. All right. There we go. All right. So, hey, everybody. Come on in. Welcome to the ever-growing circle of friends where we gather together each and every day, for the most part, and think and talk astronomical thoughts and topics and occasional tangents. So yeah, come on in, have a seat in our sort of cosmic lounge of sorts. We're sort of, it's maybe towards the end of the day. You could at least sort of imagine that, and just sitting back. Everything's done. The day is done. We're just going to sit back and relax a little bit and talk and think astronomical things. And hey, I've got to definitely do some apologizing in advance. So as you may have been hearing me say, this monsoon season was a little unusual. It was a little bit dry, much drier than it ever has been. And, well, up until this year, I had practically no allergies whatsoever at all. And I thought that was absolutely great. But in the past, maybe it started a couple of weeks ago or so, past couple of weeks, the everything has just been escalating, to the point that this afternoon went out, walked the dog around a little bit, came back, and it's like I've got the itchy, burny eyes. I've got the stuffed up nose. Yeah, it's all there. So yeah, that's a little bit of a surprise. So yeah, please excuse the occasional either eye rub or eye itch or eye whatever. Going to try to keep that under a little bit of control and wraps here. So yeah, just one of those things. And I choose to usually not treat these things with any kinds of pharmaceuticals or anything like that. Mainly because, what's happening here, right, is that the immune system is reacting to something, and it's sort of overreacting, right? And so I'm glad the system works, right? And this is an actual way to, right? And exercise is good, right? It actually makes you stronger, more flexible, healthier. So I don't mind exercising the immune system. I think that's a good thing. And, having said that, my question always is, why would I want to suppress my immune system in any way? Now, these bodies, right? These bodies can go overboard sometimes, right? I mean, if you have 104 fever, okay, you don't want to have 104 fever for more than a day, right? That's these bodies sort of overreacting, right? But if you have 104 fever for a couple hours, a few hours, right? I mean, it peaks like that. That's a good thing. That's a very good thing. Um, because that means that, you know, the worst is over and you're coming back down, right? And it completely uses your immune system, which is great, right? I mean, you want that to work. So why would I want to suppress it in any way at all? Now, allergies can get out of hand too, right? So I am not uh, anti-pharmaceutical in any way. I just think that I think we've sort of learned to jump at those pills a little too quickly, right? At least that's been my experience, my limited experience. Um, so yeah, I don't take any pills. Nope. Unless there's a real need, right? I mean, if I have, you know, some extreme pain, right, that I know is either going to go away or, you know, it's something that's going to be dealt with soon, right? Then you know, uh, maybe I will go for, you know, the pain pill there, right? Because I know that it's going to go away in the short term, right? It's not a long term thing. It's the long term use of these things that seems to get us into trouble. So yeah. So yeah, I just live with those kinds of things. Same thing with headaches. Same things with colds and flus. I just, you know, I get on that surfboard, right, and I just ride that wave. And I'm not very good, right? I'm not very good at it, but you know, you make it through. You get washed up on shore, and you know, you sit there, and it's like, ah, ah, it's over. It's over. And you know, one of the greatest things, and I don't know if anyone out there has experienced this or not, but uh, probably the first 2 or 3 days after I am well, after being sick, are like, you know, my best days, because there's a euphoria, right, of you know, being really, you know, I mean, a cold or you know, some kind of flu really isn't all that bad, but you know, being sort of down in the dumps, you know, no energy, achy, you know, all of that, right? And then to come out of that and, you know, not feel that is a very euphoric kind of a thing. So test. Are we having some trouble in the chat? Yeah. Well, you know, I do. I don't do them probably as often as I probably want to, but from probably a couple times a year at least. I've got a friend who does a sweat lodge, and those are fantastic, right? I mean, it's so many levels. So yeah, I'm definitely into the heat. That's actually one of the reasons why I'm here. Is because I do like it really warm, really warm. So cool. Oh, okay, it's okay now. Cool. So yeah. So yeah. My apologies if I'm messing around with eyes and nose. So as I said, I will try to keep that to a minimum. And actually, thinking about astronomical topics, right, really is sort of a way, you know, of getting outside of yourself and sort of roaming the universe in sort of a virtual way. Um, okay, yeah, that's cool. I haven't done any of that at all. I I guess what I have to say about that is that I'm sort of thinking that that doing like some kind of intestinal wash, even a oh, what do they call it? A cleansing, right? Um, I'm not quite sure if that's a good idea or not, because I mean, I try, at least I try to sort of trust this body to run itself pretty well, right? And most of the time it really does, unless there's some kind of either internal or external uh, force. And so the internal is something that we have a lot of control over. External, not so much, right? So I guess I I'm not quite sure if doing some kind of a cleanse or a wash um, is necessarily a good thing. I mean, I I guess it really depends too on the individual. So, right? I mean, if it works, phew, cool, cool. But yeah, I'm not quite sure. Not quite sure about that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, it's really nice, and yeah, hopefully, knock on wood, it's like I'm not going to be forced into a situation where I do need to start taking pills, because that would suck. It really does. So just I mean, me having to remember that. Oh man, I'm the absent-minded professor, right? I mean, I don't I don't even know what day it is, right? Most of the time, because working on things and having a good time. It's like okay, do I need to know what day it is? No, not really. Uh, so yeah. All right. Well, cheers. I've got the hydrogen hydroxide, and this is a new brew. This is a new brew uh, because the system now has the system now has a new pressure tank that was installed. So yeah, this is a brand new brew here, and it's pretty. It's pretty much the same as it always was. So, but maybe just a little better. And I do have a little bit of coffee, and if if I have a vice, it's probably coffee and caffeine. Yeah, it's but it is sort of a means of hydration, sort of. But that's why I've got this right nearby too. Right? I mean, I try to get through 2 or 3 or 4 of these every day, and this is just sort of the supplemental thing. It's probably not all that great for the gut, but if there's an equilibrium, right? I mean, if there doesn't seem to be any problems, right? Then it's like, okie dokie. Really over the cliff. Absolutely. Absolutely. Anyway, so cheers. Cheers to coffee. Oh, all right, well cool. Let's think astronomical thoughts. I was going through the archive.org listing for Monday the 17th, and let's let's sort of go through those and see if there's anything that grabs our attention. Let's see, so I'm going to share my screen. And Bobby isn't going to be here today, not going to be on the panel or anywhere at all. He had a previous engagement. So, Bobby, if you're watching this later, just giving you a shout out. Hope you're having a good time, whatever you're doing. All right, so let's pull up that, and I'm going to look at the chat really quick to see. Okay, all right, we're good there. You know, the other thing that I wanted to do was start up my smartphone so I can monitor all the shenanigans that are being seen and not seen. Okay, cool. All right, so let's see. This is just, these are the latest and greatest astrophysics papers that have, you know, more or less been approved for publication. And this archive.org with an X, which is supposed to be a Greek letter chi, so ARXIV, archive.org, run by Cornell. And as soon as a paper gets approved for publication, it becomes what's called a preprint. And a preprint is exactly what the word implies, and that is it's a pre-publication of the to-be published paper. So yeah, as soon as it's approved, then it's sort of, you know, sanctioned to be okay to view by, you know, anybody. So, and a lot of the papers, a lot of them end up here. And as I've said many times, archive.org isn't just the astronomical place. It's mathematics. It's a lot of physics and stats and biology. Lots of really interesting things, and you get the latest and greatest work that is coming out of that. Now, you have to realize that most of the time, most of these papers took months or years to write, right? So what these papers are showing, with you know, some rare exceptions, but for the most part, these authors are not working exactly on this anymore, right? The paper is sort of the end of one line of work, and the beginning of a new one, which you know, may actually, you know, start exactly where, you know, this one ends, but it doesn't always have to. So these people are not working on these topics anymore. I mean, not specifically these, for the most part, right? So even this, which is sort of the bleeding edge, right, has this lead time, right? It's sort of like, you know, you have to wait, you know, when you send a signal to New Horizons, right, the spacecraft that went by Pluto, you know, the Pluto system, and is now on its way to the asteroid that they've named Ultima Thule. And it's a trans-Neptunian object further away, I think like three astronomical units further out, maybe even more than that. I don't remember. Maybe 10. I don't remember. Many astronomical units further away from the sun than Pluto. Now, Pluto's at about 40. So I'm thinking that Ultima Thule is like 45 or 50. something like that. Yeah. Um, anyway, so yeah, for the most part, these papers are sort of old news too. But this is what we, as sort of the public, um, and researchers, anybody else, this is sort of the first look into the heads of the authors, right? Up until this point in time, all this information was just in the heads of a few people, right? After this occurs, it can be in anyone's head. So very cool, and sort of a normal number of submissions today, it looks like. I think I counted 46. Let's see, a global measure of power density to estimate surface gravities of main sequence solar-like stars and red giants. Okay. Successful 3D core collapse supernova explosion model. 23 pages, 16 figures. One could misinterpret that. Yeah, well, that's pretty interesting. They're trying to simulate what's happening inside of a supernova here. And I recognize this name, Adam Burrows. Adam Burrows has, I would say, by at least an order of magnitude, Adam Burrows is the smartest, most intelligent human being that I've ever met, and order of magnitude above sort of number 2. And number 2 is pretty high too. But Adam Burrows is he's basically, he won't say this, right? But he's as close to sort of savant when it comes to the science of astronomy and physics and anything. This guy can literally be like a super expert in anything at all, and he does. So yeah, I think astronomy, astrophysics is still his main gig. I forget where he is. And he's been modeling supernova explosions. I knew him in the real early 90s. I would say like 1990, 1991. I actually took one of his classes. I took classical mechanics with Adam Burrows, and those were he's an expert teacher. He explains things perfectly. Yeah, I could just go on and on and on about him. He's absolutely amazing. Let's see where, I don't remember where he is. I want to say like Harvard or Stanford, not Stanford. I think it was East Coast. Yeah, I didn't really get to work a lot with him, because he was at. In fact, he had 2 offices. He had an office at Stewart Observatory, which is the astronomy department. He also had an office over in the physics building. So he had 2 offices. He had at least 2 titles. Come on. And he did them equally perfectly. He fulfilled all of his obligations. When when you yeah, he had homework. He gave us homework, and when you got a thing wrong, he showed you what was wrong. Either that, or he wanted to talk to you about it. So yeah, it's just absolutely amazing. Now, for some reason, Archive is giving us some trouble here, which I'm not happy about in the least. Not quite sure if it's my connection or if it's Archive. We can... Did I tweet? I did. Let's see if I can get some new tweets. You can see what... you have a little bit of a glimpse into what I... Oh, yeah, no, it updated. It updated. So it must be... Oh, man, it must be these guys. Because, yeah, they're running really slow here. Oh, that's not very nice. Yeah, that's not very nice at all. Huh, okay, well, let me click on that again. Yeah, it's having trouble. That sort of sucks. Let's stop this and reload this page. Yeah, and I was just giving archive.org millions of compliments there, and look how they pay me back. Look at that. Not fair. I'm gonna check the chat really quick. Make sure. Hey there, Tom. Very cool. Oh, so you were actually there. Neat. Very cool. Very, very cool. Yeah, I watched the Weekly Space Hangout yesterday. I didn't get to see it all, but I saw it today, recorded, and then I did catch the live stream of the Astronomy cast. So yeah, huge shout out. Hey there, Andy, to both the Astronomy cast, Weekly Space Hangout. Check out Pamela Gay as well. She is Star Strider on Twitch. And Fraser Kane, which I think on YouTube is just F Kane. Yeah. Well, that's very nice. That's very nice. Yeah. Cool. It was nice that you were nearby enough to be able to do that, because that's sort of out in the middle of nowhere. Sweet. Well, look at this. Archive is not even loading. I am just absolutely devastated. It's the end of the world for sure. The end of the world as we know it. Oh, well. Well, I guess what I can do is yeah, that's too bad. Why don't we look through the rest of these, and maybe by then they'll have, fixed their little problem. We can reload and see where we go from there. But that one's sort of worth looking at. I don't really get into a lot of models on this live stream because it's something that you really need to study first. I would like to take at least a few hours, right, and sort of study the paper, make sure that I understand it, And then, you know, then talking about it would be so much better. So, you know, hitting a theoretical paper, um, just sort of raw. That's just that's you know, that is for people much better at those things than I am, for sure. So, but this one is worth looking at, um, mainly because it's just the again, you know, the pictures are absolutely stunning, absolutely just absolutely gorgeous. Um, so yeah, but it's just not loading right now. So I'm gonna check. Let's check the Horizons website. I'm just going to reload the Horizons website and make sure that's okay. Yeah, see, that loaded just fine. That loaded just fine. So it's, oh, look, nope, oh, almost. Let's see. It's still trying. It's still trying. It hasn't totally given up. There's drama on Astronomy Daily Live. This is like the most excitement I've had all day. It's just not going to work, is it? Those turkeys. They better fix their stuff over there. You're going to have a lot of upset customers here trying to get a free ride. And it's sort of hung up my my machine a little bit. Wow. I'm trying to go back. It's going to let me go back. You know, maybe I can take this opportunity to point out and to show you some other interesting sites that I like to visit. One of them, it's sort of I don't know how to best describe it, because it's not the rejects from archive.org. It's you know, everything that comes through archive.org has gone through the entire publication process, right? Facts are checked, I's are dotted, T's are crossed, you know, spelling, you know, things, grammar, you know, is the picture in the right place, that kind of stuff, right? Well, there's another site, and it's if you take archive.org and you flip the letters around, you get Vixra. And Vixra.org, where's it .com? Oh, I don't know. Oh, look at that. For some reason, I wonder if it's just this tab that's going. Okay, well, that's okay. I have no problem with that. Okay, so here's Vixra.org. And you can see that the categories are more or less the same as archive.org, right? Now, you know, one of the big faults here is the fact that astrophysics is not first, okay? So for me, Vixra gets a big black mark just for that, right? Because we all know, especially on this live stream, right, that astrophysics should always be first, always. And the fact that they don't recognize that and put these other weird things first is a little I don't think that they're thinking this through. So anyway, it's the same basic idea. These are papers, that maybe are a little bit more theoretical, maybe a little bit more, unpublishable. Um, you can see one of the things that I notice right away is that with archive.org, when you look at the authors, there's usually at least, it's really unusual to see a single author or maybe two authors, right? It's usually 3 or 7 or 40, right? Well, here, what I noticed almost right away is that most of these papers are written by just single individuals, right? And it also, there's a lot of repeat authors, right? I've seen this George Rajna, right? But, I mean, this person is prolific, right? Absolutely prolific, right? 28 pages submitted. Okay, yeah. So 24 pages submitted on the 2nd of September 2018 at 10:55, and 3 hours later, right? Less than 3 hours later, 2.5 hours later, he submits a 28 pager. So, I mean, these people are obviously, spending a lot of time writing and then, just doing kind of like a bulk submit, right? But still, so yeah, you get a lot of repeats. Todris, right? Here's another guy. See, there he is again. Jupiter-Uranus distance, metonic cycle reason. Oh, and then he did a revised one. So yeah, I would say that these are maybe a little bit further out, right? But don't discount these at all. And I like them because it bends my mind, right? I mean, it oftentimes forces me to look at things in different ways, and I think for science, I think that is critical. Primordial black holes. Jupiter as potential second sun. The Elysium transition. Walensky. Jeffrey Walensky. Here's another one. George Todris. Huh. Yeah, there's just, lots and lots here, and it's all pretty interesting stuff. Simpler black hole description. Please help, our lives are in danger. Wow, I don't know what that is. That's I'm not quite sure why that is in astrophysics. It seems to be like some kind of a fictional story. I guess, right? I mean, I don't know if he would necessarily be talking about his father torturing his mother by starvation. So, yeah, I guess that's a story, but why it's in astrophysics has my curiosity up. See, so this loads okay. So it's definitely archive.org. Yeah, what does this have to do with astrophysics? Physics department. Let's see if physics and astronomy studies. I have absolutely no idea. Yeah, this is a little strange. Wow, we've got like I would say almost personal information here. Huh. Wow. Well, I don't know if this is supposed to be in here or not. That's a little weird. Okay. Well, huh. Don't know quite what to make of that. Maybe I'll have to investigate this Hodges guy a little bit more. Okay, so he's saying that the solar group is one machine. Each planet is one gear in it. Okay. Well, you know what? He might be onto something. I don't know. I mean, maybe the metaphor is wrong, but maybe he's on to something in terms of his thinking. Don't know. I mean, it's all that we can do is metaphor. So, you know. So, yeah. So, this is an interesting site, as you can see. Pairing properties of nuclei has proposed a new theoretical model for calculating pairing properties of atomic nuclei. Okay. Neutron stars answer neutron puzzle. Yeah. Free neutrons decay in like 15 minutes. Yeah. So you can't have a free neutron around for very long, but if it's bound in a nucleus, then it can exist practically forever. Kind of interesting. Beacon for dark matter. Kepler's laws after simple alteration, sectoral speed, and replace the orbital velocity, another measure. See, that's what I mean. The grammar is a little bit off. Is a little bit off. Mysterious X-ray source. An enigmatic X-ray source revealed as part of a data mining project for high school students shows unexplored avenues hidden in the vast archive of the Newton X-ray Observatory. There's nothing quite like an ice cream on a hot day. So studying the fleeting actions of electrons in organic materials will now be much easier thanks to a new method for generating fast X-rays. Cool. So it's not so mysterious. So yeah, that's a pretty interesting site, as you can see, and you know, not as much as archive.org, right? I'm now back to the 1st of August, right? So not too many, not too many. The other one that I like to go to is What's it called? Well, we'll just Google it this way. Called Progress in Physics. Progress in Physics is pretty much the furthest out of all the ones that I look at. And again, most of these authors you will see are single author, right? These are people, I dare say, probably mostly male, who are doing some kind of theoretical work, experimental work, something like that, in, you know, under the umbrella of physics, and you know, coming up with some interesting ideas, right? Most of them I don't understand at all, right? I mean, I look at this, and that is a foreign language to me, completely. Um, I don't know what the gamma coefficient is, so I'm not quite sure about that one either. Dirac electron and its propagator as viewed in the Planck vacuum theory. Okay, so obviously this is some kind of particle, and its propagator. I'm not quite sure what that means. QED, that's quantum electrodynamics, mass renormalization, vacuum polarization, and self-energies in the electrodynamics of the space-time continuum. Wow. The nature of the electron and proton as viewed in the Planck vacuum theory. Huh. On the speed of light and the continuity of the physical vacuum. Unfalsifiable conjectures in mathematics. So that's sort of the current issue. These are posted as they are acquired, and I think it's just time, right? They go by quarter, I believe. So yeah, you know, they'll have a number of submissions in a particular quarter or month or whatever it is. So usually a lot of this stuff is pretty heavy stuff. On the classical scaling of quantum entanglement. I'll just give you a sample of heavy. We consider the implications of the classical scaling of quantum entanglement observed experimentally. The probability of preserving entanglements over classical scales and preventing the entanglement from collapsing due to physical interactions is exceedingly small, indicating a fragile entanglement process. So yeah, it just, you know, it starts to get into it right away. It's, you know, it's like, oh, okay. You know, I mean, the mathematics here is simple enough, right? But I'm not quite sure what the symbols are. And you sort of have to be into those kinds of things to know. There's it's kind of interesting that they use this and this, and these two things are saying exactly the same thing. It's e to the whatever that is, and that's e to whatever that is. So I don't know why they did that. That's a little strange. Of course, what this implies, right, is that this NCP sigma, is that a sigma? I think that's a sigma. NCP sigma, they're putting it at about 0.45. Okay. But yeah, I mean, this is just, so we get into partial differential equations a little bit here. That's all right. That's not too bad. There's nothing really hard about calculus. It's just a matter of perspective. So let's see. Anyway, so yeah, you know, I mean, it blows my mind that people think about this, and it completely blows my mind that this kind of information is in somebody's head and they've thought about it, right? They've thought about every single word, every single letter, and it just amazes me, right? That people, you know, however far out they are, I mean, we are certainly, or we can be, very creative, right? Very creative. We're trying to guess, and you know, usually, well, we're wrong about a lot of things, and you know, we're right about a few things. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I really like those three sites, right? Those three sites I check out. I mean, I check out archive.org every single day. Vixra, I'll check out maybe once a month or so, and probably the same with progress in physics too. Yeah, I'll check that out once a month or so, and you can see that these go all the way back to 2007 or 2005, right? 2005. So that's 13 years worth of you know, mind-blowing stuff that's probably really wrong, right? But who knows? Who knows? And who knows where these papers will lead, you know, the readers to go into something else, you know, to see things a different way and deviate on the path a little bit based on something they read in one of these, you know, sort of way out there papers. Yeah. Let's check the chat really quick. Yeah. Hey there, Tom. Nice to see you. Is it somebody putting bad stuff on the site? Yeah, that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. I like it. I like it. I think that's great. These little mistakes, you know, that nobody is supposed to see. It's like, yeah, or you know, we need to take those kinds of things a little bit more in stride and just sort of relax and know that, you know, mistakes can be so easily made, right? So yeah, that's fun. Okay, all right. So here's I guess what it says on Vixra, right? Quote: "We will not prevent anybody from submitting, and will only reject articles in extreme cases of abuse. For example, where the work may be vulgar, libelous, plagiaristic, or dangerously misleading." Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah. So it's I would say that that's very, very loose moderation. So yeah, you're going to get all kinds of interesting things in there. And you know, I like the interesting things. I like the things that, you know, you're not necessarily supposed to think about or talk about. I just like to take a look and, you know, come to sort of my own conclusions about things. And what I've realized is that you know, many things I just learned wrong, right? It's like, nope, that is just completely incorrect. you know, you've been misled, hoodwinked, all of that. But yeah, very, very cool. Yeah, legalese. Legalese. So cheers to legalese. All right, well, cool. You know, I don't really think I have much else. Maybe I can show you my my little plot here. This is M37, and what I've done is I've selected a I've selected stars that fell within a certain range of proper motion. And if they fall in that range, then I'm going to sort of assume that all these stars are moving together, right? And I think that's a good assumption, right? Now, let me make sure that I'm square here. It doesn't look like I am. Let me just square it up as good as I can. Is that... Oh, I guess that's not necessarily going to be square. Oh, but it's going to be round. Yeah. Okay. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay. So that's pretty square now. So you can see here's right ascension down here, and here is declination. Nope, sorry. And I've got it the wrong way around. Flip this around. And I've got to flip this around. Oh, it's awful. But I want to show you how it looks in our sky first. You're getting the previews here. So that's what M37... so as I said, I selected the stars that have similar proper motion, and then I've plotted them in the sky, right? So this is what cluster members that I've selected, that's where they are in the sky. But then I've also got the parallax of all of these stars, which means I can also see distance. And so I can rotate this around, and now up this way is a measure of, actually, this way. Yeah, so this way is up, right? No, I had it right the first time. I'm sorry. Yeah, so this way is towards us, and the larger the parallactic shift, the closer these objects are. So yeah, these guys are closer than these guys, and if I move this around, you can really start seeing. And in fact, let me increase the point size a little bit. The size of the dot is the magnitude of the star, is the brightness of the star. So that's sort of a three-dimensional map of M37. And as I said, up is towards us, right? So that would basically be our view, right? Anyway, just it's sort of fun looking at Gaia data, having access to all of this data, and it's kind of neat to see the cluster in 3D. I think that's pretty spectacular. And all of these are probably members. Maybe not all of them, but I would say most of these are members. So yeah, very, very cool. Trying to think of how to colorize this, and I haven't come up with any ideas yet about, you know, how to make those dots so they're colored instead of just black dots. You know, I can keep the size, right, representing, you know, the brightness, but what can the color do? The color, I guess, I could do like proper motion, right? I could probably designate a proper motion as a color. I have to think about that. I have to think about that a little bit. Okay, well, I think let's try archive.org one more time, and if it doesn't come up, and we'll give it a good chance here, because you know, on Astronomy Daily Live we're pretty stubborn. So, you know, we want certain things to happen, and we like to give it a good old try. But wow, it is just not, it's not even connecting. So yeah, they must be doing something over there. Oh, got a little bit of a blip. Okay, well, I guess they've had their chance. So I think I'm going to take this chance to get out of here for now. So yeah, well, thanks for coming in again, everybody. It's always fantastic. Oh, it's really, really great to just sit back and think about some astronomical things, come up with some stories, and yeah, just dive into things a little bit, and, you know, things off the wall, right? That you know, who knows? I mean, everything that we know of now was at one time somebody's idea, right? So you never know. You never know where those kinds of things are going to come from. And as I said, you know, even if it doesn't, you know, end up being sort of like that thing, right? If it helps somebody else change their perspective, you know, start investigating sort of a different line of reasoning, and that comes up with some kind of an amazing thing, then cool, right? Then that's very, very awesome. So yeah, you know, I don't discount these kinds of things at all, because, you know, I do want to be open-minded, right? I want all of that, and, you know, let me be the filter. You know, I don't want any filters saying, oh, you know, that's not it, right? You know, that's wacky, that's woo-woo. Well, I can decide that too. So let me, and then you know, we can agree with one another. All right, you guys, I'm going to get out of here for now. One more gulp. Cheers. Yep, exceptional. All right, I will see you all in 22 hours and 56 minutes. All right, that's just a little less than one spin around. So hold on to your hats, because it's a wild ride, right? We're traveling, you know, 900 kilometers per hour, right? Just sitting here, right? It's as if you were sitting in a car that's going, you 900 kilometers an hour. It's I mean, how does that feel? Well, it feels just like this. So yeah, pretty wild. But one more spin around and we'll be back. We'll be back here at 2 hours UTC. As I said, 22 hours and 55 minutes from now. Okay, take care, everybody. Nerd out.